Good morning, students. As you all know that we have finished all the chapters from our textbook. So today we'll start the revision. So we'll start with chapter 1, real numbers. So in chapter 1, first I am telling you the deleted topics, the topics which are deleted from chapter 1. As you know, in your textbook, the first topic is Euclid's division lemma, but for this year Euclid's division lemma is deleted. Okay, so we are not going to study again Euclid's division lemma and related questions. Everything is deleted there. So our next topic is fundamental theorem of arithmetic. But before doing that topic, since our chapter name is a real number, first we should know about different number systems. So first we can check what are the different number systems. So as you can check here, it is written different number systems. So we can go through here. The first one is different number system. So the smallest number system is natural numbers. So collection of all natural numbers is denoted by the letter N, and the numbers are, you all know, the numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. These numbers are called natural numbers. So natural number is starting with 1. Okay, so the smallest natural number will be equal to 1. Then after natural numbers, if we will include 0 in the collection of natural numbers, we will get the next number system, that is whole numbers. And whole numbers is denoted by the letter W. So what we said, in the collection of natural numbers, if we will include 0, then we will get the whole numbers. So the whole numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. After that, if in the whole numbers, if we will include the negative numbers also. So whole numbers, then including the negative numbers also, will represent the set of collection of integers. And remember that this collection of integers is denoted by the letter Z, not I there. Okay. So the collection of integers is denoted by the letter Z. And then we have the collection of rational numbers. So collection of rational numbers is denoted by the letter Q. And we know rational number is of the form P by Q, where P and Q are integers and the condition is Q should not be equal to 0. This is the important condition. Q should not be equal to 0, because if the denominator is equal to 0, then the number will not be defined. That's why whenever you are writing the rational number, this condition you have to write there. P and Q are integers and Q not equal to 0. So we discussed about natural number, whole number, integers, rational number. Some numbers are there which we cannot represent as rational numbers, that we studied in 9th class also, like root 2, root 3, pi. These all are, yes, these all are irrational numbers. Irrational number means which cannot be represented as a rational number, which cannot be expressed in the form of P by Q, or exact definition if you will write down there. Irrational numbers means whose decimal expansion is non-terminating and non-repeating. Remember that it should not terminate and it should not repeat also, because if repeated numbers are there, that they can be converted in the form of P by Q. So the condition for irrationality is the decimal expansion should be non-terminating and non-repeating or non-recurring. So collection of rational numbers together with irrational numbers are called real numbers and is denoted by the letter R. So when we studied about all number systems, so you can check the smallest number system is set of natural numbers, then it will come whole numbers, then integers, then rational numbers, and at last real numbers. So if you will check the sequence there, we can say every natural number is an integer. Every natural number is a real number. Every integer is a real number. But converse is not true. Every real number is not an integer. Like 1 by 2. 1 by 2 is a real number, but 1 by 2 is not an integer. So converse is not true there. Okay. Every whole number is an integer. Every whole number is a rational number. Every whole number is a real number. So I hope these number systems are clear to you. Now, the next topic, as I already said, Euclid's division lemma is deleted. So, in your NCERT textbook, after Euclid's division lemma, the next topic is fundamental theorem of arithmetic. This topic you studied in lower classes also, but that time we don't know that this is fundamental theorem of arithmetic. What is that fundamental theorem of arithmetic? Nothing. Fundamental theorem of arithmetic means expressing the number as a product of prime factors. The prime factorization which you studied in lower classes, that is fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So first we can check what fundamental theorem of arithmetic says. So according to fundamental theorem of arithmetic, every composite number can be expressed as a product of primes. Okay. Every composite number can be expressed as a product of primes, and this factorization is unique apart from the order in which the prime factors occur. So first part I think is clear to you. Every composite number can be expressed as a product of primes. Means we can express composite number only, not the prime numbers. Okay. So composite number can be expressed as a product of primes. And what does this means? This factorization is unique apart from the order in which the prime factors occur. Just a simple example there, 6. 6 can be written as 2 into 3, correct? But 6 can be written as 3 into 2 also, both are correct. So order is not important. The factors are important there. One example I wrote here, 24. If we will do the factorization of 24, it will be equal to 2 into 2 into 2 into 3. How I did this one? 24 can be written as 8 into 3. And then 8 can be written as 2 into 2 into 3. So 24 can be expressed as 2 raised to 3 into 3. If I will rewrite, if I will change the position, if I will write in this way, 3 into 2 cube, then also it is correct. So its meaning is this factorization is unique, means 24 can be expressed in this way only. No other way is there to express 24 as a product of primes, but order can be changed. 2 cube into 3 can be written as 3 into 2 cube. So fundamental theorem of arithmetic, just remember there, every composite number can be expressed as a product of primes, and this factorization is unique apart from the order in which the prime factors occur. Now one more thing. If in the question it is asked, write fundamental theorem of arithmetic, means you have to write what is written in your textbook. Don't express it in your own words. Okay, don't simplify fundamental theorem of arithmetic. You have to rewrite in the same way as it is written in your textbook. So I hope fundamental theorem is clear to you. Okay, now we will check the next concept. So the next concept is, yes, HCF and LCM. HCF means highest common factor and LCM means least common multiple. So now we can check using fundamental theorem of arithmetic how we can find out the HCF and LCM of any two numbers. So it is written there, HCF, product of the smallest power of each common prime factor in the number. So first what you have to do, whatever number you are getting, do the prime factorization of the number and then check, find the product of the smallest power of each common prime factor. This is important there, huh? Common prime factor. If two numbers are there, means the number should be common in both. If 3 are there, then also you have to take the smallest power of common prime factor in the 3 numbers. And LCM is product of the greatest power of each prime factor is written there. It is not written each common prime factor. So while calculating the LCM, it is not necessary that that number should be common in all there. Okay. If the number is there in any one of the, when you are doing the prime factorization, if the prime factor is there in any one of the number, you have to take that prime factor also. Okay. And one more result is there, that is if A and B are any two numbers, then HCF of A and B and LCM of A and B will be equal to A into B. Means HCF into LCM is equal to product of the numbers. HCF of any two numbers multiplied by its LCM will be equal to product of the numbers. Now in this topic, sometimes some simple question can be asked there. Always you don't have to check the formula there. In some, you can just use the concept of factor and multiple. Like, what will be the HCF of 2 and 3? Yes. Any common factor is there in 2 and 3? No. So, directly, without thinking, you can say HCF is equal to 1. What will be the LCM? 2 and 3. No common factor means they are co-primes. So, when the numbers are co-primes, then LCM will be equal to their multiplication. So, LCM of 2 and 3 will be equal to 6. What will be the LCM of 2 and 9? Yes, LCM will be equal to 18. What will be the HCF of 2 and 9? HCF will be equal to 1. Now, what will be the HCF of 4 and 8? HCF of 4 and 8. So, now just to check multiplication table. In the multiplication table of 4, 8 is coming? Yes. So, its HCF will be equal to 4 only. And what will be the LCM of 4 and 8? Again, in the multiplication table of 4, 8 is coming. So, LCM will be equal to 8 only. So, something you can just check the concept and you can do the question. Okay, now we can check how we can do the questions based on HCF and LCM. So, one example I wrote here. Find the HCF and LCM of 75, 20 and 50. So, to find the HCF, first what we have to do? Yes, we have to do the prime factorization of all the numbers. So, here is the prime factorization of the number. First one, 75. I wrote in this way. If you don't want this method, you can use your own previous method which you are doing there. Like 75 is divisible by 3. So first you will divide it by 3 and then you are continuing in this way. If you don't want that, you can rewrite in this way also. So 75 can be expressed as 3 into 5 square. In the same way, now 20 can be written as 2 square into 5. 50 can be written as 5 square into 2. So 75 is equal to 3 into 5 square. 20 is equal to 2 square into 5. 50 is equal to 5 square into 2. Now first we are finding the HCF. Now what is HCF we wrote there? Yes, HCF is equal to product of the smallest power of each common prime factor. So first check there. 5 is common in all the numbers there. Correct? The number 5 is common in all the number. And what is the smallest power of 5? That is 1. Because if nothing is there means that is 5 raised to 1. So smallest power of 5 is 1. So we wrote here 5. Now just to check there. The number 3 is here. But 3 is not there in 20 and 50. So 3 we cannot take. Now 2. 2 is there in 20 and 50. But 2 is not there in the prime factorization of 75. So we cannot multiply it by 2 also. So HCF of these three numbers will be equal to 5. Now LCM. LCM is equal to, according to the definition, product of the greatest prime factor of the number, greatest prime factor in the numbers. Okay. So now just to check there, if you will check the factor, 5 is common in all and the greatest power of 5 is 5 square. So that we wrote there 5 square. Then next 2. 2 is there in these two number and what is the greatest one? Here 2 raised to 2. So that one we wrote here 2 square. Now anything is left? Yes, 3 is left there. So we will write down 3 also there. So LCM will be equal to 5 square into 3 into 2 square. Now how you can multiply this one? 5 square into 2 square, that will be equal to 10 square, and 10 square is 100. So 100 into 3 is equal to 300. Okay. So I hope this question is clear to you. Okay. Now this is the result once again. If A and B are any two numbers, then HCF into LCM will be equal to product of the numbers. Now some more questions we can do based on HCF and LCM. Now, next question is explain why 7 into 11 into 13 plus 22 is a composite number. So first you should know what is a composite number. What is a composite number? Yes, a composite number can be expressed as a product of primes except the number and 1 itself. Okay. So if the number can be expressed as a product of any other number other than 1 and itself, then we are saying it is a composite number. Or the definition is composite number means it should have minimum 2 factors other than 1 and itself. Okay. So now we can check whether we can express this number as a product of primes. Okay. So 7 into 11 into 13 plus 22. So just to check there, 22 is coming in the multiplication table of 11 there. So we have two terms there. One is 7 into 11 into 13. Then the next term is 22. In these two terms, we have 11 common. So 11 taken outside. So from the first term, if I will took 11 outside, what is the remaining numbers? 7 into 13. So that we wrote here 7 into 13 plus from here 22 can be written as 11 into 2. So 11 taken outside. So remaining it will be equal to 2. Then next step 11 into 13 sevens are 91 plus 2. Then 11 into 93. Again don't multiply these two numbers because we have to show that this is a composite number. Means we have to express it as a product of two numbers other than 1 and itself. So now after that this one you have to write there. The given number can be expressed as a product of two numbers other than 1 and itself. Therefore it is a composite number. Or this statement wordings can be different there. You can rewrite in this way also. The given number has two factors other than 1 and itself. Therefore it is a composite number. So if this question comes for 2 marks, 1 mark for be this explanation. Okay, 1 mark for be this step and 1 mark for be the reason which you are writing there. So in this way you will get 2 marks for this question there. So now just suppose that if you wrote till here, don't think that you will get full marks there. While writing, the solution should be complete there. You have to explain it clearly there why it is a composite number. Okay. Now moving on to the next question. The next question is find the smallest number which when increases by 7 is exactly divisible by 6 and 32. Now first thing is whenever you are getting any question, you have to think whether you have to find the HCF or you have to find the LCM. So for that, read the question carefully. What is written there? Find the smallest number which when increases by 7 is exactly divisible by 6 and 32. The number which you are finding that should be divisible by 6 and 32. Divisible means what will be? It will be divisible when it will be a multiple, correct? So we got the term multiple. So when we got the term multiple means we have to find out the least common multiple there. So again we are doing the prime factorization. 6 can be written as 2 into 3. 32 can be written as 2 raised to 5. And we know LCM is equal to product of the highest prime factor of each product of the greatest power of each prime factor. So 2 raised to 5 into 3. So LCM is equal to 93. But our question is not find the smallest number which find the smallest number which is divisible by 6 and 32. Our question is find the smallest number which when increases by 7 is should be divisible by 6 and 32. Our number is 96. We know 96 is divisible by 6 and 32. But we don't want that number which is divisible by 6 and 32. We want that number which when increases by 7 should be divisible by 6 and 32. Means we have to do something. We have to add 7 to some number so that it should be equal to 96. You are getting my point? We have to find that number. When we will add 7 to that number, we should get the answer is equal to 96. So to get this number, what we are doing? Required number is equal to 96 minus 7. So we will get there 89. So 89 plus 7 when you will do, what you will get? 96, and 96 is divisible by 6 and 32. So I hope this question is clear. Okay. Now the next question is, what is the smallest number which when divided by 144, 180 and 192 leaves remainder 3 in each case? Again, check the question and think whether we have to find the HCF or LCM. Again, we have to find that number which when divided by 144, 180 and 192. So just to check, the number which you are finding will be greater than these numbers or smaller than these numbers. We are dividing that number by 144, correct? So obviously that number should be greater than all these three numbers. So if it is greater means what we have to do? We have to find the multiple. Okay. So again, least common multiple we will find out. So I did the factorization here and then I calculated the LCM. Okay. Now just to check the question there. What is the smallest number which when divided by this leaves a remainder? We want the remainder here. So LCM we got here. But when I will divide the LCM by 144, obviously remainder will be equal to 0. If I will divide the LCM by 180, obviously remainder will come equal to 0. But in the question, we want remainder 3. We don't want the remainder equal to 0. So to get the remainder 3, what we will do? Whatever LCM you got, add 3 to that number. So we will get the required number is equal to 2883 because we need the remainder 3 there. Okay. So I hope these all questions are clear to you. Okay. So now in WhatsApp, I will give some more questions for practice. Slowly we will do topic wise we will do the questions. So today we studied about different number system and then we studied about fundamental theorem of arithmetic, then highest common factor and least common multiple and some questions. So I will give you some question based on that. You can do that question and in case of any doubt you can ask. Thank you.